Hey everyone, today I'm going to talk to you about finding values or finding information from a single zip code or a list of zip codes. And this is going to be really valuable for some of you who might be doing customer experience surveys or visitor experience surveys, exit surveys if you work for a museum or some other visitor serving organization. One of the questions that, of course, we always like to ask is, what is your zip code? Because we want to know where people are from. But sometimes when you just have a long list of zip codes, that doesn't really tell you a lot of information. You know, where are people coming from the most? Are there people who are coming from in-state or out of state? Which cities are people coming from? So in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create your own Excel lookup table when all you have is a table or a list of straight zip codes. Now, the other thing I want to let you know is that I actually have a template. If you don't want to spend the time to make this template on your own, please feel free to look in the comments. I will send you, or I will put the link to the template download there. It's a $10 purchase, and I hope that you'll enjoy it if you use it. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do this. You can see right here in my zip code, this is actually the template that you'll get if you do purchase the template. So I have some instructions here on the left, but you can see here I have one column for our zip code. So that's where we're going to type in our zip codes or paste in our zip codes from a big list. And then I created 3 extra columns here for city, county, and state. So nothing's going to be in here, but these cells right here is where I'm going to put my formula, my lookup formula for the actual zip codes. Now, what you need to do first is go anywhere and get a downloadable database of United States Postal Service zip codes. You can do this on lots of different websites. I've done this. I have the link up here to the site I use, unitedstateszipcodes.org. I purchased, you can purchase the zip code database, or for educational purposes, there's also a free download that you can do here. And I've pasted in here my entire zip code database. So this is everything all the way from the lowest numeric zip codes all the way. Let's see how many rows of data we have here. We have, let's see, 42,725 zip codes. So that's a big database that we're going to be looking at. But you can see this database includes lots of different options. But I'm going to be concerned with column D right here is the primary city that a zip code is associated with. And then we have the state that that zip code is associated with. And then we have the county as well. So I'm going to show you how we can enter a zip code into this spreadsheet right here and have it pull the information for city, county, and state from this zip code database tab right here. Okay, so what I'm going to first do is go into the city, and I'm going to type in a formula. Now I'm going to use XLOOKUP. Now you might be familiar with something like VLOOKUP, which has been around for a long time, but XLOOKUP is something that Microsoft unveiled for Microsoft 365 subscribers. So if you have an older version of Excel, you might not be able to do this, but you can accomplish something very similar by using VLOOKUP formulas. But for this case, I'm going to use XLOOKUP. So what we want to do is first type in an equal sign in that cell. We're going to be up here in this formula bar, but that's going to be entered into the cell. So we're going to first type equals, and that tells Excel that we're going to start entering a formula. And then I'm going to go ahead and type XLOOKUP. You can see that already shows up right here. So I'm just going to double click, and then it tells you, it does that open parentheses and tells you what we need to include in this formula. So the first is a lookup value, and this is where I want my my table to point to in terms of the value that we're entering. And in this case, it's going to be the zip code from my list. So I'm going to point to this cell. So I'm going to say that the lookup value is in cell let's see, B2 or C2. And then what I'm going to do is put a comma, and that takes us to the lookup array. So where do I want that lookup value to be pulling from? So I'm going to then click over here to the zip code database, and I'm going to say that I want that to look into this first column, the zip code column. So when my lookup value is one of these lookup columns, then what do? I push another comma, and then what I want it to return is I want it to return the city. So then I'm going to go ahead and click in this entire column, column D, and that tells me that it's going to pull whatever value from column D based on the zip code that it shows you in column A. Now, This is a really simple lookup, so we don't need these other three options: if not found, match mode, and search mode. Those are for something that are some more specific searches that you can sort of do, but in this case we're really just looking for a simple lookup. So I'm going to go ahead and do close parentheses, and that closes my formula. I'm going to go back over here, or actually I'm just going to push enter, and that's going to take us back to our lookup sheet. And you can see it enters 0 here. So the way that XLOOKUP works is if it doesn't find the value, it's just going to enter a 0 here. And for now, I'm going to be okay with that. Okay, so then I'm going to do the exact same thing for county. So I'm going to type equal XLOOKUP, open parentheses. I'm going to point my formula to that C2 again, because that's where the value of the zip code is going to be. I'm going to do a comma. Now I'm going to go over to my zip code database, go ahead and highlight column A, that's the lookup column, and then I'm going to do another column, comma, and this was for county. So I'm going to go over here to the county column, and I'm going to highlight that. And then I'm going to close parentheses and press enter. Now I'm done. You can see there's a 0 there because this value in C2 is blank. So when it's going to be blank, these values will be 0 for now. I'm going to do this one more time. Equals XLOOKUP, open parenthesis, the lookup value in C2, comma, go to my zip code database tab, lookup column is A, and then comma, and then this was state. So I'm going to go ahead in column G and highlight that. Then I'm going to close my parenthesis, press enter, and there's a 0. So we have these lookups. Now let's test it out. So I have a zip code. This is my hometown, Holland, Michigan. It's 49423. So if I push enter, now city, county, and state should be populated, and it should be Holland, county should be Ottawa County, and state should be Michigan. So let's see if it works. Voila, it works. Pretty awesome. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and actually just highlight these, and I want to copy this formula down the entire row. But first, actually, I want to add something to each of these formulas because I don't really like those zeros. So like when I delete the zip code, you can see that those zeros come back. I actually just want all of these to be blank. So how do I do that? So I kind of Googled and I found this little solution here. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go into the formula, and I'm outside of the parentheses, I'm going to type an ampersand. So Shift 7 key, that's that ampersand. And then I'm going to do an open quote and a close quote. And that just means I want it to be blank. So I'm going to just do like that. And then if I push enter, that cell should be blank. And yeah, it is. So I'm going to go ahead and do that for all of them. Ampersand, quote, unquote, and then it's blank there. Ampersand, quote, unquote, and it's blank right there. So I'm actually going to highlight these. I want to copy all of these down the row, or down the columns here in the sheet. And I have, I think, up to 10,000 columns that you could enter zip codes into, or 10,000 cells. So I'm going to go ahead and double click this, and this will copy the formula down the column. So I'm going to double click, and you can see it copied that formula in all of the cells below it. So if I look at this and then I go down one column, you can see everything is fine except for the fact that it points to the new lookup value in column C and row 3, which is perfect. All right, so now it's time to test this out on a real list of zip codes. So I have kind of a list of, pretend like this is a fake list from my customer service or customer satisfaction survey. I'm going to go ahead and I highlighted all of these. There are 100 zip codes. I'm going to go ahead and copy them, and then I'm going to go ahead and paste them into my Excel or my zip code lookup template. So I'm going to go ahead and push Control V for paste. And yeah, awesome. So everything populates here. I can go down and make sure there are no sort of errors or zeros or anything like that, but it looks like all 100 of them are great. So perfect. So these are all from different cities, counties in Colorado. There might be some from out of state here. You can see there's one from Wyoming. There's one from Texas. Let's see, but you might have a few thousand zip codes. So it can be really difficult to kind of just go through and sort of point out all of those. So what I've done in my template is I've used pivot tables I've highlighted all of these columns, C through F, and I've created a new sheet with pivot tables that will tell me how many zip codes there are and where those are, and if there are any repeats. And then it will also analyze the city level, county level, and state level. So these are for totals and percents. So how many of my zip codes are from different cities, how many are from different counties, and how many are from different states. So what I'm going to do right now is, since I already entered these into my list and I've already created these pivot tables, I'm just going to click inside one of these pivot tables to activate it, and then I'm going to go up to the Pivot Table Analyze tab on the ribbon, and I want to refresh the data. Anytime you add new zip codes to that database, you're going to refresh all, and it will update these pivot tables. So let's just see if that works. So I'm going to click on this refresh and go to refresh all. And it looks like it worked, and I already have all these sorted. So the greatest to least, the zip codes that we have the most will end up on top, and the least will end up on bottom. And so you can see that I have, let's see, 29% of my zip codes are from the city of Denver. Let's go over here to state. Let's see, 97% of my zip codes are from the state of Colorado, and then I have 3 zip codes from 3 different states: Texas, New Mexico, and Wyoming. So you can imagine how easy and how useful this would be if you had a list of 3,000 zip codes or 4,000 zip codes, something like that. And so if you download this template, you can very easily copy and paste all of those zip codes here. It will automatically populate these pivot tables for you. And of course, you can definitely go ahead and create this database on your own, this lookup table on your own. You just need to go in and insert those pivot tables, and you can look online. There are so many different tutorials for how to insert a pivot table like that, or you can do it the easy way and just download my template. But I'm really glad that you guys followed along. Hope you made it. This was a long video, but I'm really glad to sort of put this out into the universe, just because so many people have often used this template of mine and have asked how I look up zip codes from my survey data. So I hope you get to do that in your own data. Hope you enjoyed the tutorial and have a wonderful day. Thanks.